Hey good looking, welcome back and happy holidays from our heart to yours. Let's get into doing a shop with me, refreshing my makeup basket and finding some really good oldies but goodies. Hello and welcome back to the 25 Days of Christmas. Today we'll be doing a shop with me, shop my stash style video, and let's do what I'm currently using. This is my minutia of you know what. It always ends up like this, but I do try to like put things away and start fresh. So I'll grab a couple standout shades or products and then we'll get started. The L'Oreal True Match Nude Serum Foundation's a really good standout from this basket, as well as the Physicians Formula Butter Dream Team. I've been using this quite frequently. Organic pan right there. Also, this Honest Beauty Femme Blush has been really nice. A true staple in the collection has been the Seraphine Botanicals Primrose and Cream Lip and Cheek Trio. And my Sydney Grace Lippy in the shade Anne has been really nice. Let's get this stuff put away and we will grab a couple of standout products and add them to my basket. Okay, these are all the products that I am going to put back into my stash. Here's one that is empty. And here are all the products that I'm keeping in my basket. So maybe I just only have one, or like, for example, I only have one translucent powder, so that has to stay. And then I only have, well, I guess I have a couple of different eyeshadow primers, but I'm just using this one right now and it works pretty good, so I'm going to keep it. And then I only have one cream bronzer. So those are products that are going to stay in my stash. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and remove this glitter adhesive and finish off the rest of this glitter glue from Too Faced. It's a sample that I got. Okay, let's go and get to adding some stuff to my collection. So this is my blush, bronzer, highlighter, and lip drawer, and I think I'm going to reorganize this before I, choose any products out of it. Because right now it's just like a complete and utter mess. So if you want to see a or not a declutter, but like a reorganization of this drawer, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, let's go and pick out another face palette, an eyeshadow palette, and probably one other item. Okay, so here's some of my face palettes. I put away the Butter Dream one. I'm not sure which one I would like to add. I'd like it to be a blush bronzer, and I just really love the Butter Team one because it has blush, bronzer, highlight, and a powder. So like I was just using it constantly. This is nice, but this would only be kind of a highlight and a bronzer shade, maybe a contour. This is really nice, but I think that for the winter time, it'd be just too much. So I think we'll probably either have to go with the other Natasha Denona Bronze and Glow, or maybe just the Chic palette. I'm kind of debating using both of these as palettes in my Shop My Stash for this month because I do like a cream blush and a nice bronzer, but this bronzer here, I don't know, it's like a shimmer and it's really orange. I don't really think it's like a bronzer exactly. Okay, I think I'm just going to use the Cheek, just the blush palette. I've also got these two right here, but this has bronzer, maybe a slight contour shade, two different types of blushes, and highlights. So we don't have like a powder, so then I'm stuck to only using the powder my Sydney Grace translucent, which sometimes I do like a pressed powder. This one has bronzer, blush, and then I could probably use like this shade or maybe even this shade or this shade as a highlight if I wanted to, or maybe even like this shade as a highlight. So that, and it could also be my eyeshadow palette as well. Yeah, let's do this one. I'll also add the Natasha Denona, and then I'll add one more palette. Okay, since I'll have 24 shades of more like neutral or earth toned shadows, I'm thinking a pop of color palette would be nice, but I think this is mostly my neutral palettes. Well, I've got a couple in here. I do have this Juvia's Place palette, but you know, every time I put this in my Shop My Stash, I end up not using it. So I don't think this will go in there, but it is pretty. This would be a nice pop of color, but I do feel like there's already so many neutrals in this palette. It would easily just make it super easy for me to use the palette and not really reach for some of these other shades up here. So I think I'll put this one back for now. Okay, I grabbed a couple of my smaller palettes so that I could just focus on some color. I think this might be a little too neutral. This is the Slight Flex. It's the So Fierce, but it is really pretty nonetheless. Yeah, I think it's just still too neutral. As much as I want to put pink into the rotation, I just think that this is going to not get used, because I think if this is more of like a end of winter Valentine's Day palette. I mean, that's when it was launched, and that's, you know, what the palette would suggest. So I think it's gonna be down between these two right here. The Huda Beauty Emerald and the Natasha Denona Mini Gold. This would make for some really nice Christmas looks. Let me do a couple swatches here. That's pretty. This is sure cute, and so is this. And then I'm gonna grab for this teal. That's pretty. Let me see how it, I have a foundation swatched on my hand. I think I need to get rid of it because it's not my shade. That's pretty. And then here's some from the gold. So we'll go ahead and stick those. Ooh, I think I'm gonna have to use gold. If I'm not using the actual full-size gold palette, I think I'm gonna use the mini gold, because this right here, I can use that. And then these greens here can kind of fill in the gap with my Physicians Formula. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my rotation. Now that I've shopped my stash, got my collection here, let's go ahead and do a little get ready with me style makeup and try on some of this makeup to see how I got this. I already like sunscreened my face and got some color correction going on, so we are ready for the foundation. This one's a little finicky. So Makeup Geek can't buy this anymore. Foundation stippling brush. Adding a little bit to my face to even out my complexion. This is a really nice foundation for just like a light, medium buildable coverage. And I have found that the more I color correct, the less foundation that I have to use. So that's kind of nice, actually. Just grabbed like, I don't know, equivalent to maybe like one more pump, but first of all, it's not a pump. Second of all, I can't even bring the serum like out fully, or the stick, the wand, the dropper, there we go, the dropper, out fully without just making a big huge mess. But I really do like this foundation a lot. CoverGirl True Blend Concealer, and then the Soul Body It's the ColourPop brand, and it is in light for bronzer. And this is a My Destiny 025 brush that I'm using. Not really wanting to add much like tan to my face, just add like a natural shadowy contour of my face. Lip mask. Let's get to blending. Okay, the Natasha Denona Bloom Face Glow. I'm gonna grab some of the blush and then I'll probably put some of the glow on top. MAC 159, it's a duo fiber because this is very pigmented. I have to say I'm not really liking the way all these are playing well together. They're not. I don't know if it's the concealer, I let it sit too long, or what. Or if this, I think this Chic palette is not a very good one for winter for me. Urban Decay Primer Potion, and it is in Eden. It's the matte version. I think with Physicians Formula, I don't know if I need to set it or not. I think I will. So, Sydney Grace Translucent Powder. And with a Jessup 224 brush right here. Just gonna go ahead and set that real quick. This is going to be hard to hold up, but let's try it anyways, shall we? Oh boy. Okay, gotcha. All right, so first shade, I'll just have them linked below because I have it back behind the thing, but I'm just grabbing this shade right here. And these are both shadows that are found in the Tropical Days and Sultry Nights palettes, so they're both in here. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but I have a little tiny green mark denoted which ones are the Sultry Nights. So I'm taking one from the Tropical Days palette and just buffing and blending that all around. These really, I don't have any problems. They stay on my lids pretty good. Refer 16. I think I want a really golden warm look today, so I'm just gonna grab some of this. This is also found in the Days palette, and just kind of work this into the mobile lid and then blend up into the crease. These have a really nice amount of pigment and blendability. You know, they're not too pigmented, but they're not too soft, and like, you know, sometimes a shadow can be almost too pigmented to where it's like it's very difficult to use, and then sometimes it's, you know, it's not pigmented enough, and that can also be kind of troublesome as well. But I think sometimes we run into the problem of not being pigmented or being too pigmented nowadays, because everybody's trying to add a lot of pigment, you know, a lot of payoff in a short amount of time. Sometimes that doesn't really work out though, for me anyways. I think we're pretty even, Steven. Flip this over to the other side where it just kind of blend a little bit in there. All right. This is a Chic Hodo brush. There's a lot of like really nice neutral but earth tone shadows that I could use. So there's this one. This is kind of a rose gold, or even this peachy color up here would be nice. I think I'm going to use this peachy color on the inner corner and then blend it into the orange copper shade right there. So this one and this one. I'll use this brush to start out with and give it a little spritz with my spray. So let's start with, actually, let's see what it can do dry. You never really know until you put it to the test what it can do. I just don't like to risk a lot of fallout, so oftentimes I'll just kind of wet it regardless and then just kind of pat in here. Ooh, it's very similar to that orange shade that I've already laid down. It's just like the shimmery cousin of it. All right, I am gonna go ahead and wet it now that we know. It's fine, it works. There's no like fallout or anything. Maybe like ever so slightly a small amount of fallout, but I do want to like amp up the shimmer. You know what? Too Faced glitter glue. I need to use the rest of it up. It is like drying out. Oh, it might already be dried out. Oh, there's like a little bit more left. Diddy, what did you get Christmas on?
I have to commute in Christmas Day.
Will you get holiday pay though?
I will.
No, I mean,
I do 3 4-day trips next. I have off the 2nd through the 7th, or through the 8th, through the 9th. I gotta work on the 9th.
so just for like a brow bone highlight, I'm gonna add some of this white matte shade. I don't really like a shimmery brow bone, mainly because I don't really clean up my eyebrows all that frequently, so I don't really like to showcase that I have some brow hairs growing back in. So this is kind of nice that there's a white that you can just kind of gently feather in. It is pretty pigmented, so proceed with caution. And grab some of this dark plum brown just to deepen the outer V just a little bit. Okay, so we're looking still just like a little bit washed out, so I want to add a little bit of bronzer and blush. I did use that one, but we'll come back to the highlight for that palette, and I'm gonna grab some bronzer here from my 3-in-1 palette. This is a lot easier when I'm not filming it. Let's do this one here in the, I'm gonna do a mixture of these two right here. I'm gonna do Saucy Mauve and Copper Cabana, and I'm gonna mix the two together. But I'm mostly gonna take the Copper Cabana since I have a very warm look, trying to look all festive here. I don't know if this is like kind of a cool toned, yeah. And I'm going to blush drape just a little bit. So I think I'm gonna start with the Copper Cabana and just put this on, and then up at the top here. Yeah. And then put in the Saucy Mauve or whatever, and then just kind of blush drape that around. That looks so beautiful. I'm really kind of doing a blush draping effect using my, I think these are My Destiny, but they are a brand off of the Chic Hodo. I have a review for them, so I'll go ahead and leave them for you guys up here. You guys can check it out if you want. I love these brushes, especially using them around the holiday season. Just makes me feel like, I don't know, it brings a nice festiveness to my look. Okay. So next up, before I bronze, I am going to go ahead and just powder my face just a little bit with my Sydney Grace translucent powder. Kind of starting here. Not too much, I'm just dusting it because now that we're heading into these cooler and drier months here in the Midwest, I don't really have to worry so much about the oils and getting really oily. Okay, perfect. So let's grab a nice bronzer. I think for this, I've got a shimmery blush. So for my bronzer, I'm just going to keep it neutral. I'm going to use this shade right here. Right up there. I think that's just the regular, or it might be the sculpting. You know what? Let me just look. It is deep bronzer, and I might mix that with just a little bit of the regular bronzer. Just kind of dip my brush into both of them. I might, here, let me target some bronzer first with that lighter shade, and then with the darker shade I can dust it a little bit more, because I do need a little bit more on my forehead. It's looking, and a little bit on my nose, just kind of contour almost. Okay, and then just kind of like sweeping it all together with my fox hair brush. This is also part of this set if you buy it, so. All right. For lips, I'm keeping it just nice and laid back. I'm using the Vivid Lip Paint by Give Me Glow in the shade Peppermint Cocoa. All right, and that is it for this month's Shop My Stash Get Ready With Me. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season, and I hope that you guys find inspiration from your collection that can inspire you to make a holiday festive look. Thanks so much. Can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye!